Hello, Fluffy. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic, thank you.
All right, I'll start with a little intro and we'll get this thing going, man. Yeah.
Rock and roll.
WWE Rivals premieres Sunday, April 21st at 8 p.m. on A&E. WWE on A&E. So many great programs. We're going Fluffy style with this one. How about this? So you've got actor, comedian, WWE superfan Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias, who will be hosting this spectacular event talking about the great rivalries in WWE history. He's going to have a panel that includes Cody Rhodes, Natalya, Kevin Nash, who knows what else. But I got to ask you right away, Fluffy, right as we get off the bat, did you have to beat Freddie Prinze Jr. in a steel cage to get this gig?
Oh, that's so funny. People were like, "Where's Freddie?" And I'm like, "Oh, great." I said, "Yeah, they replaced one Mexican with another. Here we go." He's not Mexican, by the way. But no, man. Let me tell you, I was surprised because I thought Freddie did a really great job. But it's just WWE trying to change things up a little bit. So I feel like with Freddie, he was a little bit more analytical and more, a lot more involved and close to the fire, close to the flame. Whereas, like, he was involved in the writing and a lot of the process of the show, as far as like the actual product. Whereas with me, I'm coming in still as an excited puppy fan. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm in there with a fan perspective. I'm asking random questions, and my comments are very different from Freddie's. But I'm excited that I got this opportunity, and kudos to Freddie for season 1 and 2.
And it's really cool because, as I mentioned, I mean, you are a WWE superfan legit. And I'm curious, when you were growing up, did you have favorites? Who were your favorites? And then a connection with Rey Mysterio Jr., who's from California, I believe San Diego, and also is Mexican.
Yeah, well, growing up, my biggest, my thing was always Hulk Hogan. It didn't matter what it was. My mom always knew. If she saw Hulk Hogan on TV, she's not getting me to do anything. I'm attached to that couch, and that's where I'm going to be. So, all the rivalries that Hulk Hogan had, over the years when I was a kid, it didn't matter. Whoever it was Hulk Hogan. And so, as far as the connection with Ray, I met Ray probably between 10 and 12 years ago at an event. I had a great relationship with Vicky Guerrero, and she brought him to the show. So it was cool because I met her. I met Vicky, Chavo, Ray, and I stayed really in good contact with Ray. As a matter of fact, I was hanging out with him this weekend at Mania, and so him and his family, they're big fans, and vice versa. So I thought that was really, really cool. I never met him or his family when I was living in San Diego because I don't live there anymore. But then again, neither does he. So it's just one of those, like, yeah.
Well,
I thank Vicky for building that bridge.
Well, I'll ask you this, I gotta ask this. So, when he came to see the show, was he wearing his mask? And have you got a Rey Mysterio mask?
I do have a Rey Mysterio mask. Ray was so nice. He, for my birthday, he had his guy who designs his mask make a custom mask for me, which I thought was awesome. So I have an official mask that came from Ray's guy. But I also own, a couple of masks myself from, back in the day. But the fact that he had one custom made for me, I'll cherish it forever.
That is so cool. And also, when you were growing up, did you get to go to any shows live? Or was it just watching it on TV?
I only got to see things on TV because as a kid, man, we didn't have the money for that. So I appreciate the fact that I can do these things now. But as a kid, man, the idea of going to a live event, it was not even a thing. You got the TV, and that's the best. That's as good as it's going to get.
Why do you think WWE resonates so well? This has always been fascinating to me, and I've been doing this a long time. I grew up with Dusty Rhodes, Gordon Soley here in Florida, but it's just interesting to me because when you look at the WWE universe, it's fans, it's people, all different types of people, and then also like celebrity types, like you're a comedian actor, and football players, athletes, other types of celebrities, music artists, they all gravitate to WWE. What do you think is the secret sauce?
The secret sauce is that WWE is like a buffet. They got something for everyone. not every superstar is going to connect to every person, but there is somebody doing something that you're going to resonate with, and people, they're drawn to that. I was actually having the same conversation this weekend where we're looking around and we're in the we're looking at these Russians that are just losing they're losing it. They're having fun there, but they're like, we guys from Russia, and they're just they were excited, and I'm like, oh my God! And over here in the corner, we've got people locals from Philly. We see you cannot tell by looking at the audience, like, okay, what kind of show is this if it's not wrestling? Because it's so many different walks of life together under one roof. And so it's pretty awesome that they're able to do that. I'm backstage and I'm running into like these these characters that look like, you might want to have some security around you if you're going to be running into them. And at the same time, a minute later, I'm running into Drew Barrymore. It's like, oh my God, like, really? You're here? And so, it's crazy that WWE has that effect on people where it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, there's going to be something that you connect with.
Well, WWE Rivals...
Everybody just...
No, please, go on.
No, that was it.
Yeah, I was going to say, WWE Rivals is premiering Sunday, April 21st at 8 p.m. on A&E. They do so many great shows on there. And Most Wanted Treasures will be back. It's just the biography series is amazing. But you mentioned Hulk Hogan, and I believe you were part of Hulk Hogan versus Macho Man Randy Savage. Did I get that right? Coming up, one of the stories that are coming up on WWE Rivals?
Yes, that is my favorite rivalry right there. That'll be that's featured on the show. Hulk Hogan versus Macho Man. The Mega Powers explode. And for me, I remember being a kid sitting on the couch watching this as it was happening. All the other rivalries are great, especially like the Dusty Flair one. But that was before my time. And so it's more so like I heard about that rivalry later on in life. And I was growing up when all these other rivalries took place. But for me, being a kid watching Hulk Hogan versus Macho Man, I was in that. That was like live for me. I was in real time watching that. So that's my favorite rivalry.
It is so cool. And you mentioned, and also we get to see Hulk Hogan versus Rock. And you just got to see Rock WrestleMania 40. Oh my gosh, the things he's still doing now. He's Mr. Hollywood, but even now Mr. WWE. What was that like, I guess, the Hulk Hogan versus Rock? No spoiler alerts, but just what your thoughts about that rivalry. And then also being there for WrestleMania 40. Unbelievable.
First of all, the fact that he came back at the perfect time and brought this level of what he does back to wrestling, like, I feel like all the stars and the moons aligned for this one. He came back at the perfect time and brought us 110%, not only in the promos and, because it's one of those things where sometimes we'll get old superstars, not old, I shouldn't say old, but, former superstars that they come back for a week or two. They pop in and pop out. But the fact that he's come back and he's been this committed to appearing weekly and building up the story and just getting Mania to where it's at and then delivering, like, wow. It was WrestleMania 40 was already incredible, and he just solidified that. He made it even better. So super excited to see him back, and I'm glad that he was able to perform and do everything at the level that we had all hoped he'd be at. Now, as far as the him versus Hogan at 18. I thought that was a really good. That's a great rivalry right there. And it's interesting that he is now. What I think that we're talking about. He's 2 years older than Hulk Hogan was at that Mania.
Amazing. That's just amazing. And I don't know if you caught this part because you are a big super fan. It was so cool when Rock and Cena at WrestleMania 40 were face to face. And I don't know if you picked up on this. Do you remember their faces? Yes, you did. See, you do. You knew when they both turned like their faces. That was just so cool for me. I was like, oh, that was Hogan Rock. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, my gosh. Well, listen, a few more questions. I want to wrap this up, but I do want to ask you. See, since you were there and all, you got to see Rey Mysterio with the big win. Hey, what's going on with that kid Dominic? Come on, Fluffy. What's gotten into his son?
You know, hey man, if we were on the streets, I'd say that girl was some bad influence on him.
Can't blame him because of mommy, right? You can't blame the kid because of mommy.
No, you can't blame the kid, man. The mommy got the spell on him. That's all I can say. You know, mommy is making him do bad things, and he is blinded. And you know, as a dad, you know, it's one of those things. You see it, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Oh man, it's just so. This is so cool, and I'm glad you're a part of this because you really do enjoy it. And hey, I'm just curious for you. When you're out there and you're seeing these shows live like that, all these big shows and all, do you still have that same feeling that you had when you were a kid watching it?
I'd be lying if I said yes. It's different. Because as a kid watching it, I watched it with innocent eyes where, you know, it was when I was watching it, it was before it was called sports entertainment.
Right.
You know, I would get into arguments and fights with people because, you know, they would throw around the whole, oh, it's fake. And it's like, oh, it's not, it's real, it's fake. And so, you know, for me, I grew up during a time where, man, you believed 110%. It was Santa Claus to the 10th power. You know what I mean? Whereas now, of course, I still love it. I appreciate it. I enjoy it. But as an entertainer, I understand how things work. I understand how the magician does the trick. And it's a different respect, and it's a different, you know, form of admiration for what it is. Do I love it? Absolutely, which is why I was excited to be part of Rivals, which is why I have no problem getting on the phone and doing press to promote it because I enjoy it so much, and it's been part of my life. And it's one thing I can say that for the last almost 15 years now, I've been consistent in going and making it a family tradition, and it's something my son and I have bonded over for, you know, since then. We started going, and we just always made it a thing. Even after his mom and I split up, we still go. So it's you know, it's different. I love it. It's just different.
It is cool, and it's just, and you mentioned that, it's something, like I said, families get involved with this, people of all ages, from all different cultures. It's so amazing what WWE has been able to create, and just, I mean, Fluffy, being up there for WrestleMania 40, what the heck was that like when that crowd, Cody wins the title, and that whole, you've got 70,000 plus people just going nuts. I mean, as an entertainer, as a fan, what is that part like for you to see and hear that?
Oh no, it's sick, and you know, we had a great view of the entire stadium. You know, from up, we were up high. There were good seats, but you know, we were up high. We could see everything. It was so many people. I want to say it was over 200,000 in the course of the weekend.
Yes, it was.
Part of all those events. Yeah. So it was great. It's, you know, it's our Super Bowl, and I feel like I almost feel like the Super Bowl has been overshadowed now by this because of how many people do come out and support this.
Well, I'm curious.
But as somebody who's in front of crowds on a regular basis, wrestling fans are the best, and wrestling fans are excited. They're sharp. They're very witty. I mean, the chants that I hear and the way that people get on board with, you know, for example, I remember there was an issue with one of the screens, and within seconds, fans were chanting in unison, you know, fix the screen. You know, I'm like, wow. Or you know, there was a moment when one of the Rock was talking to Cody, and he's trying to touch his belt or something like that. And I think that happened on Raw. He was asking to touch his belt, and the crowd just started chanting, This is awkward. Like, and it's not 5 people. Yeah, that's like, the fans are so in sync with this. It's beautiful to watch, and you know, I feel lucky that when I feel lucky when I get fans chanting Fluffy in unison. I think that's incredible. But when you got fans actually having a conversation with whoever's in the ring, that's next level.
Oh, this was so cool. And I'm curious, is Fluffy a good pro wrestling nickname, or would you have to change it if you're tag teaming Rey Mysterio, Jr.?
I couldn't change the name at this point if I tried. People, you know, this gimmick has worked very well for me. And even if I was to lose weight or get buff, maybe I'd be Buffy, or I'd grow out a bunch of hair, I'd be Scruffy, or I'd become a heel wrestler, I'd be Tuffy. There's going to be an E in there somewhere. An E.
Hey, it goes along with WWE. Right, it goes along with WWE. You have to have the E in there with WWE.
Even though it's technically a Y, but yeah.
All right, well, let's WWE Rivals premieres Sunday, April 21st, 8 p.m. on A&E. And you get to work with Cody Rhodes, Natalya, Kevin Nash, sitting at that round table, talking about rivalries that we mentioned. Also, John Cena versus Batista, Triple H, the boss, versus Seth Rollins. So many more. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Booker T. One of my favorites, the grocery store. Oh my gosh, it's just so cool. All right, so as I let you go, Fluffy, I got to ask you this one. In the comedic world, have you come across comedy's second biggest WWE fan? Because you're the first.
Ooh. Another, somebody else who's as big a fan. Honestly, my friend Alfred Robles, who's been on tour with me forever, and now he's off doing his own thing. He's attended as many manias as I have, so, look for him, man. He's starting to blow up. So, Alfred Robles, definitely.
Yes, Fluffy.
Man, I know.
Yes. And lastly, I got to throw this in. Lastly, could you see any WWE superstar currently who might make it in the comedic world? There you go.
I've always said that, The Rock has a wit like no one else. He's quick on his feet. He's funny. He understands timing, and he knows how to work an audience. And all those things are very important if you're going to be a successful comedian. And I think The Rock could pull it off. And I don't think he'd ever would, and I hope he doesn't do it because, he'd probably conquer that as well. But I think that if he wanted to, he could do stand-up.
And Fluffy will be coming to Florida. He'll be coming to South Florida at Hard Rock Live. He's going to be touring Fort Myers. He's going to be in Tampa. We look forward to see you here in Florida. Thank you so much. We look forward to see you on WWE Rivals on A&E.
Thank you so much.